Uh, Good afternoon, ladies. Good afternoon, Rosa. Good afternoon, Angie. The topic
Good
for
afternoon,
today
teacher.
is okay. The topic for today is what is it like to live in a city? What are the conditions to live in a big or in a small city? And the first part that we are going to share is a little text, three paragraphs that say the following information. Life is always fast moving in a city. Most people spend a lot of time every day in travel because they prefer to reside at a place that they like, even though it may be far from their work spot. As a result, most people living in a city find it necessary to move fast. However, over a period of time, people realize that they have not used their time and energy productively. If they were able to save time in unnecessary travel, they could have used that time better at work. I feel that people should seriously consider moving their residence closer to the work spot for becoming more productive and successful in their lives. Unfortunately, I found this doesn't happen in most cases. So life goes on faster and faster in a city unnecessarily. The first activity we're going to try to realize with this paragraph is to um, is to answer the following questions. Rosa, what does it mean fast moving for you? What is fast moving for you? What is the meaning of this word? Rosa, can you hear me?
Okay, teacher.
Okay.
Uh,
Could you please tell me what is the meaning of fast moving?
mm, mm, como de rápido movimiento.
Okay, so good. Try to give me a synonym in English, please.
Eh, the fast. mm, soon.
Okay.
Um, immediately.
Okay.
Mm,
Thank you, Rosa.
near.
Okay. Angie,
Yes, teacher.
what what is one of the most important reasons for being fast moving? What
Mm, I
is mhm.
I think people nowadays people thinks is important for business. Is near people have children believe is better for them.
Uh-huh.
They have or have their houses near
Uh-huh.
for business and a school for children. Um, the people save the money
Okay.
and they doesn't moving in around of the city. The people send um, uh, little hours in moving around their business until houses.
Okay, Angie, thank you. Rosa, do you think that people today like to live in big cities or they prefer prefer to live in small cities and towns? What do you think?
I what I prefer, teacher? Is
Yeah.
big or small?
Uh-huh. What do you prefer? To live in a
Okay.
big city or in a
Okay.
small city?
Uh, I prefer a small city teacher. Um, for me, it is no better live in a big city. I like they are beautiful, but I just like to go on vacation or work. I like to live in quiet place, safe with little traffic, um, where everyone knows. Surrounded by a lot of nature as the place where I live, which is a small town and close by past the Magdalena River. There is a lot of vegetation, and
Vegetation.
where animals okay. And when animals, people are very friendly and helpful.
Thank you, Rosa. Great. Okay, Angie. What do you think about the use of the energy and the time that people used to do with in the big cities? What is energy and time use in the big cities for you?
Teacher, can you explain the question about
Of
is
of
yes, teacher.
course, of course. Mm, Sometimes we think that our time and our energy gets us full of stress
Ah,
because
okay.
what is your opinion about it? What is for you the use of time and energy of people in big cities?
Ah, okay, teacher. I think in big cities is common uh, stress and have uh, demanding jobs is very stressing when the employees can um, have um, journals extended for 10 hours without um, without pauses and is the routine is very demanding and
Okay.
is um this this can be wrong, uh, difficult for health, and is a demanding life. So I think the companies nowadays thinks in your employees and a good life and have tools for uh, for a good employers. I think.
Thank you, Angie. Rosa, do you think that today people love to work near their houses or they prefer to work farther homes? What do you think? Could you please your microphone?
Okay. Um, the question is if I prefer place near in big cities.
The question is general. Do you think that people prefer to work near their houses or they prefer to work far their houses, and why? What is your opinion?
Okay, teacher. See, people prefer working in the near work, teacher. Spend less time on and can you uh, uh, do other things.
Thank you, Rosa. Okay. The second situation, the second part of this session is to try to answer personally, according to to your the next questions. The first question is what it is like to live in your city for a week. What are the most important activities? What is the routine like? What are the feelings that you feel when you are living in a city that like the one you are living? Okay, please, Angie, what is your opinion?
My favorite activity in my city is maybe concerts, public concerts in uh, Plaza Simón Bolívar, and is free, is for community. It's a good idea for government for time free. I like uh, activities about recycling.
Yes,
Um, is good way for apart um, plastic, and no you can reuse materials for a good commune for your community and safe environment. And I like activities about education in schools. Uh, they have implement music and ideology about have a good education for children. And I like December when community meet uh, for dinner Christmas, and dance in midnight, and novenas. So these are these some activities that I like.
thank you, Angie. What about you, Rosa? What it is like to live in your city for a week?
In teacher in my community, there are few places to visit, but I can go to and we can I can go to church. Um I, so there there is a little park. I like to walk at the street. In vacation, I like to go to visit my mother in Bucaramanga.
Okay, Rosa. Mm, Second question, Angie. What it is like to live in your city for a month? It is the same way that living just a week, or it is more boring to live in that city for a long time? Why do you think so? Do you consider that this city turns and tiring, or do you consider it turns into a very interesting experience?
Um, there are many activities in my city. Is it isn't boring. It's so funny, and there are many malls, and I like watching cinema, and I like go to the museums. Is interesting. Is colonial and history. The parks in my city are are funny. The famous park is Salitre Mágico in Bogotá. Is only popular park about about diverse. What do you say, Parque Ediciones, teacher?
Amusement park.
Amusement park is a good idea for weekend, and I like go to the church. It's near from my neighborhood. Is a popular place that my community go to the or weekend.
Okay, Angie, thank you. Rosa, do you think that it is the same way to live in your city for a week than for a long time? Or do you consider that sometimes it turns very routinary and boring?
I consider teacher is boring and routinary because there are few activities to do in my community. We stay at home, we watch TV. We only go out when there are community parties or family parties. No more kids.
Okay, thank you, Rosa. Angie, what are the five words that you used in order to describe the lifestyles, the most important lifestyles in our city?
The five words is disco for disco is one word, and cinema
Mhm.
is five words. Teacher,
Yeah, yeah,
I
could be.
use it. Hospital about illness, illness.
Uh,
Um, Zoo, park,
uh-huh.
and now I use five words in sentences. Teacher,
Okay.
uh, I like go to the cinema, and sometimes in my job, especially weekends, my friends and me go to the disco and we like to the museums too, and I like go to the park with my my sister. Is my favorite activities for weekend.
Okay, great. Rosa, what are your 5 words and how do you describe your routine with these kind of words?
My routine, teacher. In
Eh,
my routine in my town.
First of all, your 5 words that describe the city, and then you are going to use them in order to describe briefly your routine.
Um, teacher, the routine, the people in my town,
Uh-huh, it's a good
the
option.
or activities, but
The, the
by
daily activities, uh-huh.
okay. Um, in my community, people work and farm. Um, uh, there are dedicated fisher. Um, I some teachers that work at the school. Um, um, and in weekend, people going to church. The children to Monday to Friday going to the school. I I going working at the school too. Um, in, uh, mm, I feel there are only in my community there are only one park, to a church, to a school. There are few places to visit.
Thank you, Rosa. Next question. Mm, what are the most important disadvantages of living in the city that you are living? You can mention it, and then uh, you are going to give a little reason in order to explain why. Angie, what are the most important disadvantages? Okay, Angie, can you hear
Yes,
me?
yes, teacher.
Okay. What are the aspects that you consider dangerous or disadvantages of the city where you are living?
I think is dangerous for night in public transport. And ultimate in the ultimate days, has been um, risk for people. You can see a stole bags and cell phones and parks. Uh, Park is a place are places very dark in the night and dangerous for any person. Um, Probably you can be stolen.
Thank you, Angie. Great. Rosa, what do you think that are the most notorious, the most outstanding problems in your city that you consider limitations, disadvantages, or dangers?
Teacher, the, the most important disadvantages I consider the few employment opportunities. Um, uh, there is no good health service near, but the main one the flooding by the river. Hubo inundación que se desborda el río,
Floods,
desbordar,
floods.
flood the river. Okay, is the main disadvantage.
Okay, Rosa. We all have the opportunity to travel to a new place. Sometimes we can do it our way in a very different site, in a very different place. If you have the opportunity to visit, for example, New York, how do you think that your life changed? What will the feelings that you get doing this? Rosa?
Um, no entendí, profe.
If you have the opportunity, as all we have, to visit a new place, in this case we are going to talk about New York, that is a very big and outstanding city. What what do you consider that are the most important change of feelings and attitudes doing that?
The, the most important when I visit, for example, New York.
Yes, not
Yes,
only visiting,
yes.
not only visiting, but living there.
Living there. For living there, I consider the most important when I living in the other city is I to have a good job. Um, um, yeah.
Do you think? Do you,
See, mainly have to have a good job because uh, the life in the cities is is very expensive.
Mm-hmm. Expensive. Okay. And what about the vision that you have, the perspective that you have about this city, taking into account what people talks about the city?
Mm. Excuse me, teacher. It's it's difficult for me to understand.
Don't worry. Is it more dangerous or less dangerous to live in New York according to people's opinion? What do you think?
Uh, I think uh, it's I think that New York is safe. Uh, well, uh, in 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 some news, I see uh, that there are there are few uh, insecurity. It's little insecurity.
Uh-huh. Okay. What else?
What teacher?
What else? What other change will you feel? Will you experience?
Um, I don't know. In experience, talk about the of New York teachers.
Yes, yes. What other change
Mm.
will you think there will be? Mhm.
Change the meaning uh, cambio. What
Yes,
is the
of course.
meaning change? Change.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Okay.
Change, change.
Change.
Okay.
Cambios. Yes. mm, New York is a city very beautiful. Um, uh, there here we got G here
Uh-huh.
here
Yes.
uh, there are uh, many opportunities of the of job in education uh, is a city uh, very developed, desarrollada,
Uh-huh. Develop.
very developed, very developed. Mm, no more teachers.
Thank you, Rosa. Angie, if you had the same opportunity, if you had the same opportunity of living in New York, what will be the changes? What will the changes be about the way you are living here in Bogota? What will be advantages and benefits, and what will be the disadvantages or dangers?
I think the most um, disadvantages maybe um, the language and money change in high. Um, the traffic, New York, I think there is uh, a more traffic in the avenues. Um, the apartments are expensive, and I don't know people live in New York, but it's a difficult problem with me because it's important have a friend or commune person that that help me that can help me. Uh, the other disadvantage is food. Recipes or aliments are different, and fruits, vegetables are more expensive, and and the the rest month
Mm-hmm.
is expensive, but the New York is a beautiful place. They have good theaters, and and is demanding demand there are demanding jobs and a good life in health and education and development, about technology, the enterprises. People create enterprises and is successful for them because is New York. There are many people. The economic is moving and in all year, and it's a fun place for live. And it's a new world with for me. New York probably is the most big city in the world. They have many people, and I think this is interestingly for in New York.
Okay, Angie, thank you. So nice. Now, mm, if you had the opportunity to organize all the cities in Colombia, for example, if you had the opportunity to plan industrial cities, commercial cities, touristic cities, and artistic cities, only, only with these kind of proposes, where do you live? Where will you live without the thinking twice? Industrial, commercial, touristic, or artistic cities? What do you think, Rosa? What kind of city would you like to live in? Rosa?
No le alcancé a escuchar todo, teacher, excuse me.
Okay, don't worry.
Hubo como una interrupción.
If, if you had the opportunity to plan cities in Colombia and organize them in a very specific situation, for example, if you had the opportunity to organize all of the cities in Colombia in four kinds of cities: industrial cities, commercial cities, artistic cities and touristic cities. Uh, Only for example, what kind of city would you like to live in and why?
Um, I like live in touristy city. Uh, for example, I like Santa Marta, Cartagena. Uh, I think that city very beautiful. Uh, Here visit many tourists of the the many place the other countries, uh, Cartagena, Santa Marta, uh, have mm, many place touristic. Uh, for example, um, the beach or or theater or landscape beautiful. Mm, la Sierra Nevada is 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 very beautiful, uh, and it is very important to the city.
Thank you. Angie, what of these, which of these four kind of cities would you like to live in?
I think I like live in can you repeat again the question, teacher? Please.
If you had the opportunity to organize Colombia in four kind of cities,
Okay.
commercial city, commercial, industrial, touristic, and artistic cities, where do you like to live in?
Okay, teacher, is the same question. I live the best option is a touristic place. It's a good for our economic. Um, Many foreigners coming to Colombia in the year and for holidays. They foreigners buy food and reserving hotels, suites in hotels, and it's a good market for hotels. And foreign coming uh, dinner for our market is a good for um, for our country about culture and holidays. People, Colombians, sell and typical foods and typical things about our costumes and culture. I think it's important recognize to the world we like a beautiful country and that receive many foreigners and um, many foreigners or culture use the tool for development and economic.
Mhm.
I think.
Okay, thank you. Now we are going to try to organize a different activity. First of all, I want you to tell me if you can see my screen.
Yes, teacher.
Okay,
I can
so
see
good.
them. I can see.
What about you, Rosa? Can you see my, can you watch, can you see my screen? I am going to share a video about people living in a very cold city. And then you two, you are going to try to ask some questions and debate the difference between living in your city and living in this kind of cities, okay?
Okay, teacher. Teacher, I can hear the video.
Can you see the, can you watch?
I can hear the video, teacher.
Okay, just a minute. Mm, ¿Cómo le hacemos aquí? Compartir sonido. Ahora compartir el audio. Ok. Ahora sí, creo que ya. Ok. Better?
And no, teacher, I can hear a sound.
No?
No, teacher.
Ok. Now you can?
Teacher, no, I can hear. I
Okay.
think.
So
Yes,
we are
teacher.
going to, okay, we are going to try to, I am going to send you the link. And
Ah, okay,
please,
teacher.
watch it and listen it, and then we are going to talk about it.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, that's it. Okay, are you ready?
Yes, teacher.
Rosa? Rosa?
Right, teacher.
Okay, now we are going to play with the video. Rosa is going to be the kind of interviewer. You are going to organize some questions in order for Angie to answer them about the video, about the possibility of living in this kind of cities, about the way you perceive the dangers that these people must live. Okay, so Rosa, please your questions, and Angie is going to be the answerer.
Eh, okay, teacher. Angie, um, what what are uh, what are doing the peoples in in the video? Eh, eh, ay, no sé, teacher. ¿Cómo preguntar?
Rosa, can you repeat again, please?
What are doing the people in the video?
Okay, Rosa, thanks. Um, People live now in snow. Um, people have um, people is prepared. Then it's cold weather, and people seeing sees uh, preoccupied about your condition. So many in the video, some people give help, probably food and and clothes. I think they are homeless and need help. Live, I think live in snow is a dangerous place for health, and is difficult for live and a good life. And the second question, I think, um, I in all countries is the same condition. Many people live in low conditions and dangerous places. Is commune. You see homeless, need food, and homeless, sickness. Government try give opportunities for a good life, but it the is the oh, nowadays there are many people, and I think the some causes for homeless and poor, probably drugs and poor conditions, bad life, and I think it's necessary the government implement plans for development, for help for homeless. That their question, what is the probable end of many people like them? I think is in all countries, homeless is dead, and they aren't uh, resources, and it's little people that help them. I think so.
Thank you, Angie. Rosa, what is your opinion about the video? What do you think about it? And about the questions.
The condition the people's is is of these people is very sad and distressing. It's very hard to live in this condition, especially because of the cult.
Why do you,
Teacher,
uh-huh.
in our country, for example, in Bogota,
Uh-huh.
many people living in some condition the of this person.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that it is coherent to live a country like Colombia, for example, living more or less good, in order to go to a country like the United States to live in a very difficult situation, more difficult than in Colombia? Do you think that it is coherent, or it is a kind of insane resolution?
Um, uh, in comparison, teacher,
Uh-huh, Rosa.
um, the situation the people in New York is more difficult than people in Colombia, for example. In New York, the weather is more is colder. Colder. Um, the situation, the people living in the street, uh, with snow, with with many snow, the people there is no house or food. Uh, they prepared uh, clothes, special with with weather. The situation the people is very hard.
Thank you, Rosa.
In New York, teacher.
Okay. Mm, Next activity. You are going to take 5 minutes, 5 minutes, in order to take some notes. You are going to try to describe mm, different kind of clothes for different kind of climates of weather. Here in Colombia, try to not to take into account seasons because we don't have seasons, but try to express the way people use clothes in the different kind of weather that we can have here in Colombia. 5 minutes, please.
Okay, teacher. Is popular clothes, uh, the popular clothes in hot places is uh, people uh, people use skirts. Is good for temperature and silence for woman. It looks good for them, and the in this place is common use sandals for arena for um, is uh, is is better and in Bogota for is nose for cold weather, and so people use um, um, uh, clothes like jackets, pants, and blouses, and sweaters, and hats, and 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 shows and shows and chowders, and we have many different kinds of clothes for our weather. And in Boyacá, people use ruana and dresses is common and typical for women. And the hats, the hats is is very popular.
Mhm.
And I think in Island San Andres is bad, bad. Teacher, can you what do you say trajes de baño?
Swimsuits.
Swimsuits
Swimsuits.
and clothes, more communists, skirts, shirts, and I think in Colombia the weather is change in other places is the most common, and and some weathers
Mhm.
uh, impact the the same have it the same impact in some cities in our country.
Thank you very much, Angie. Rosa, could you please tell me your answer for this question?
Teacher, the people uh, use depende the weather of the city. For example, in Bogota is cult. It's cult city. The people wear sweat, sweaters, coats, boots, gloves. Um, in colder city, use wool, socks, um, ruanas, hat. In warm city is more common to sweat, jeans, shirts, skirts, short dress, um, little uh, sado to protect hats, use hats to protect themselves from the sun. Um, in the in the cities, as the cost use clothes uh, uh, is little warm. In the beach, you wear t-shirt, short pants, um, swimsuit. No more, teacher.
Thank you, Rosa. Next situation. One of our students, one of our students is going to move to a different city with a very different culture and with very different hard situations in living. For example, a very dangerous city nowadays is Mexico, for example. Or they are going with their families for through to um, a Far East a city like Jerusalem or El Cairo, these kind of things. What are the most important tips that you can give them in order to try to fit or adjust in order to live in a very good way without having a kind of a shock, but trying to adjust to that culture? Please tell me two or three tips that you consider very important. Angie?
I think, teacher, places like the Ruiz volcano is a famous place. The visitants can use um, shoes especially for snow. I don't remember name. Jackets. Uh, Pants is a suite especially for snow too. Uh, Glasses and 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 I think like audiphones is big. I don't remember name. Uh, a bottle of water, some um, recipients for food or food a packet of food. and I think utensils for knife and situations you can visit the place with friends and pass the night and need fire and and as matches and I think is priority.
Uh-huh. Okay, thank you. What about the relation with people and the facing of the other culture? What will you advise to your students?
Teacher, what is the meaning advices? ¿Ventajas? No.
No, no. Councils, councils.
Councils is the other place,
Uh-huh.
authority,
Uh-huh. For example.
el, the documents complete, passport, visa, it require in that place, and personal documents, and back. No, is I think back,
Mm-hmm.
and is the primordial papels need to counsel.
Okay, thank you, Angie. Rosa, what are your advices? What are your tips for these students?
Tips, teacher, for visiting cities. Um,
For going to
for
live,
example,
n-
uh,
not visiting, but
not visit
going to live in another place. Uh-huh.
another thing. Okay, for example, we are we in city school, we are very our clothes is very warm. Uh, for in city is warm like clothing, use sunscreen, uh, drink, eh, bebo mucha agua, weather so, bebo mucha agua, much, weather a lot, eat much water, okay, eat healthy, um, um, in terms of the relation, the peoples, uh, be cor, 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 cortés, muy cortos, cortos,
Courteous, uh-huh. Kind.
cortos, okay, cortos. Um, to have all document necessary uh, mm, to live in in city.
Okay, thank you. Last situation. The last situation is we are going to talk about lifestyles. Okay, you can consider this information. For example, lifestyles can be divided into partygoers, fiesteros, environmentalists, ambientalistas, mm, political people, que son los que se dedican a las manifestaciones, sport people, sport women, and sport men, and some other classifications. So, what are the most important lifestyles groups in your country according to your perception? Rosa, please.
In my perception, uh, uh, for example, in my community, the group more important is uh, the the comunal action, junta de acción comunal. The people work for the needs of the community. I think I think is the main the main group
Group?
teacher.
Okay. And what about common people? What about common people? What do they like to do? They prefer to practice a sport, they prefer to be in political manifestations, or they like to I don't know, try to live in a very easy way. What do you think about for common
I
people?
think uh, my participation teacher and and some in some group I prefer the social group.
Mhm.
Uh, for example, reuniones, meet, como reuniones,
Meetings? Uh-huh.
meetings, meetings, um, for solution the problem the my community, for example, problem of the the service early. In my community, there is no hospital. The hospital uh, is very very far. Um, for example, problem of the street in bad condition. Uh, no more teacher.
Thank you, Rosa. Good point. What about Joanji? What kind of people, what kind of lifestyle do you consider most common here in Bogota?
And I think sports people um, is a good option for for your body. Is good for all parts of the body, including mind, um, nervous system, and physical exercise cause a good life and help in depression and stress, and I think burn calories is good for a good health. And in Bogota, especially, is the place that people have um, a big weight, a big. Um how do you say, teacher? Sobrepeso,
Overweight?
overweight. Overweight is necessary. People have good habits in physical exercise. For example, run, jump. Um, People go to the gym, and the exercise can give a people uh, uh, true feelings for a good no true good benefits,
Mhm.
effects
Effects.
for your bodies, and
Okay.
help in the how health in their health, and burn calories.
Okay.
Is a good addiction, I think.
Okay, so good. Mm, please, last part of the class is, as ever, the conclusions. So you are going to think about, and you are going to give me the conclusions about the topic. The topic is, what
Eh, okay.
is it like to live in a city? So you are going to take into account that statement, what it is like to live in a city, in order to give me your conclusion. Okay?
Okay, teacher. My conclusion is, if I
Yes, yes,
live.
excuse me,
Okay, teacher.
Angie. Please try to use your camera
Okay, teacher.
for this last part.
I think, for live if I live in New York, um, uh, I will have good opportunities in culture and probably jobs. It's a big city, and people are friendly and maybe hopeless. And I think in New York, I don't adapt it fast, because the weather change is more cold than Bogota, and the rent is excess. The rent is expensive. The food and aliments are in packets is different like this, and in our country. And the language is necessary. um, Learn good, learn English. And in Bogota, my favorite activities is, I like go to the cinema. I like go to the church. Um, I um, I like to uh, doing exercise, physical exercise in parks, in public parks. And my city is the most popular, because foreign coming in holidays, uh, especially they know famous places, like church and museums, and Monserrate, and the center part of the city, and Chorro de Quevedo is a famous places. Is a famous place, and I think is these places have many advantage for me uh, in culture, in education, and I think it's good travel and know other places, other customs. Is it has benefit for me in various aspects in culture, the other places, I think.
Thank you so much, Angie. Rosa, what are your conclusions?
This topic is very important to observe situation that leave
Rosa,
people.
excuse me, Rosa. Please use your
Okay,
camera. Thank you.
okay, teacher. The topic today is very important. I observe situation the other person as living other person, and I know the that in our country there are also many people living in poor condition. It is also good to talk about the different ways of dressing according to weather. Mm, Also take into account the main activities of the big city and the different tourist place of other city, and it's very important to highlight that in our country there are many beautiful places to live. For example, in Colombia, there are many countries, many cities, uh, very beautiful for to live. No more pictures.
Thank you. Disculpen, no tenía. Les estaba
Uh,
diciendo que les agradezco mucho la atención el día de hoy. Nos vemos el próximo sábado, ya que mañana no tenemos la sesión debido a una evaluación que tenemos. Entonces nos veríamos el próximo sábado y la sesión de mañana. Ustedes se ponen de acuerdo en cualquier momento, me dicen, profe, tenemos tiempo tal día y la podemos recuperar de alguna manera, ¿de acuerdo? Entonces les agradezco mucho su asistencia y que tengan un feliz fin de semana.
Okay,
Gracias,
teacher.
teacher, igualmente.
Thank you, teacher. Thank you, Rosa.